السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. This is Dr. Tariq Rashid and our program Spirit of Values. Today we are from Archaeological Authority of Sharjah. Our program today, we will concentrate on two main questions. The first question is, what are the major differences between management and leadership in promoting values? The second question is, what are the main roles of excellent leaders to promote values in their teams? And in previous episodes, we differentiated between management and leadership, as well as we set the definition of values. Now, actually, we need professional management and we need inspirational leadership in order to promote the values in organizations and in societies. Getting back to the question, what are the major differences between management and leadership? Well, management always concentrate on the results. Management care for the objectives, for the resources, while on the other term, leaders concern for the manpower, concern for the inspiration of people to achieve results. Also, management always look for the short-term achievement of results, while always leaders think of the strategic vision of the organization or of the society. This is one of the major differences actually between both. But we always need management and leadership in order to promote the values in any organization or society. Now, what are the main roles of professional and excellent leaders in order to promote the values in organizations and societies? Actually, there are 7 roles an excellent leader can play. The first role is teacher. Second role is trainer. Third role is facilitator. Fourth role is a consultant. Fifth role is a counselor. Sixth role is coach. And the seventh role is a mentor. So all of these are actually roles of excellent leaders. For each role, we will define it in only 2-word definition. Then we'll relate how this role will help in promoting the values. So let's start with the first role of leaders, which is the teacher role. Teachers are knowledge providers. So this is the 2-word definition of the role, knowledge providers. The importance of the knowledge value. So teachers always build societies through building information, knowledge, and providing this to those who are affected, then who will be responsible to use this. Let's mention how each role will be connected to what we call the result chain. In a result chain, we have to understand 3 main issues: inputs, process, and the output. The output is always the value. So the input for the knowledge. What are the input for the knowledge value? These are the data, the information available. These will be the inputs. The process is the teaching. So the leader is teaching. The team member are learning. This is the process. And the output is actually the knowledge. Once we get knowledge, what is the other result chain in order to end with a higher level value? Knowledge will help people to gain awareness. Once we get awareness, this will increase our responsibility. Once responsibility is increased, we increase commitment. Once we have commitment, we reach to development of others, and for our society, development is related to happiness of all. So the end result of the knowledge is a higher value, is happiness. This is the first role of excellent leaders. The second role has to do with training. Professional leaders will always train their followers, their team members. Training is skill developing. So always remember, we are defining in 2-word definition. So trainers skill developer. Once we start now transferring the knowledge into skills, we are promoting action. We are helping to transfer theory into practice. So skill developing is one of the major other roles of excellent leaders to train the team members or the followers. Skill developing, the value is the skill. What is the result chain for this? We start again with the inputs. What are the inputs for a skill? The inputs for a skill is the experience of the leaders. Leaders have experience. They want to transfer this experience to their team members and followers. So the input is the experience. The process is actually the training, and the output is the skill. Once we get the skill, what is the result chain of this value? When we get a skill, we can gain the best practice. We start applying by application according to the best practice. We promote this into development, gaining of this skill. Then we'll apply this to reach what we call professionalism in a certain skill. Once we start having the professionalism, by this we'll be more competent. By having more competency, we start to have trustworthy. Trustworthy means that we reach a high level of credibility. So this is the second role of professional leaders. They are trainers. The third role of a leader is a facilitator. What do we mean by facilitation? A facilitator is always support provider. So this is a very important value. Leaders always provide support through coaching skill. So support is very important for our team members, for our followers. Now, if support is there, what is the main other values in the chain of the support? The inputs for support are the resources as well as the decision. Once we have professional resources and we provide decision to our followers, then the process is what we call facilitation. Once we facilitate this, we'll get the support. Once support is there, support will promote what we call feeling comfortable to achieve results. Thus, we achieve and get higher level of achievement. Once we achieve, we feel success, and success will promote happiness again. So this is a role of facilitating. Good leaders always are good and excellent facilitators. The fourth role of professional leaders are a consultation role. What is a consultant do? In a two-word definition, problem solvers. So always when our team face a problem, the leader will interfere in order to facilitate and solve the problems from his or her professional experience. What is a problem? Is a problem always negative? No. On the contrary, a problem always carry some sort of positive actions. A problem we have to review, to focus, to check, and then through problems we develop. And actually, what is the definition of a problem? It's an obstacle to achieve our goals, our objectives. But always there are three types of problems if we want to define problems. The first type of problem is what we call deviation problems. Once we have a certain target, a certain goal we want to achieve, and we not succeeding in achieving the result, we have a deviation problem. For example, we want to achieve some sort of return of investment, but we fail to achieve this, it's deviation problem. Whenever we have deviation problems, the action is corrective actions. We correct the action, we correct the plan, and restart. But there are another type of problems. The second type of problem is what we call possible problems. Problems that did not start yet, but possible to be in the future. In such a case, we need what we call preventive measures. Through being able to predict the future, to forecast, to foresight the future, and set preventive measures in order not to have a risky problems that will affect our achievement. Third type of problem is actually a very positive type of problem, development problems, where we can develop. In such a case, we need creative actions. So three major problems. The first is deviation needs correction. The second is possible need prevention. And the third is development needs creative solutions. Leaders will always help in solving these problems. There is actually a systematic approach that can leaders and managers follow whenever we have a problem. This approach is composed of 6 main steps. The first step, define the problem. And we need to collect the information, to gather all information available about a certain problem, then we start defining this problem. The second step is to quantify the problem. And it's always we say in management, if you cannot measure it, you will never manage it, you will never develop it. So we need some sort of quantity to relate to problems. For example, if we have a problem of communication between employees and their manager, so how to quantify it? For example, we can say 30% of employees cannot express their ideas to their managers. So we have a problem of communication for 30% of the employees. This is the second step in problem solving. The third step in problem solving approach is to analyze the problem. What do you mean by analyzing the problem? By analyzing the problem, we start asking the question why, looking for the causes of such a problem. And here we have to go as many as we can think of the causes of a certain problem. Then after this, we look for step number 4, which is decide on solution. How to have solution? Once we know the cause, there is a good approach. By reversing the cause, you can get several approaches for the solution. For example, if I have a problem of a traffic jam in a certain city because of lots of cars. So the cause is we have lots of cars. In order to solve it, reverse it. Decrease number of cars. How can we decrease number of cars? We have lots of solutions, but some solutions are negative. We try to choose a positive solution. Negative solution, for example, increase the rate of oil, petroleum in a certain country. In such a case, you will lower the number of cars. Or you can increase the age needed to get the license. But these are always negative solutions. More positive solutions, how to decrease the number of cars in streets. For example, promote excellent public transportation. Start, for example, with a metro. So we always end with solutions, and we have to decide which solution is better. And we always look for what we call criteria for positive solutions. This criteria will include effectiveness of the cost, effectiveness of the solution, quality, speed, ease of implementation, availability of resources for such a solution. Then once we decide the solution, step number 5 is to start action planning. By action planning, we always start thinking what resources do we need in order to implement the solution, and who's the team will work on the solution. Once we apply the action planning, step number 6, monitor, evaluate, test. Has the gap in which we started by quantifying the gap decreased? In such a case, we solve the problem. So leaders will always play the role of excellent consultants with their team in order to facilitate getting solutions for problems. Now, what are the inputs for such process? Problems is always the input. Once we have a problem, then we come the consultation process. Then we get a solution for all problems. Once we got a solution, this will help what? Achieving more results. By achievement, we increase return, for example, of investment, return of all issues positive for a certain department or family or organization. By this, we reach more development. Development means more success, reaching again into the happiness, which is a higher level of values. The 5th role that leaders can also play with their team members and followers is the role of counselors. What do counselors do in a 2-word definition? Counselors are advisors, but we have 3 types of advisors. For example, we have academic advisor. They provide academic advice for the students, the learners. But a second type of counselors we can find in organizations, in HR departments. These are career advisors. And the third type of counseling is what we call psychological advisors. In advising the others, we promote development. For example, in education, teachers are always leaders. that can help students to go and through the academic path they need to finish and get the certificates. While leaders in organization will help people to concentrate on their career development. So they advise them through this. And in psychology, of course, when we have depression or negative emotions, we go for psychological advising. So counselors always play an excellent role to develop people. Once again, what are the inputs for this important value, which is the advice? For advice, we have to have knowledge, experience, professionalism, then the process is counseling, and the output is development. Once we create development, again, we'll create promotions. We get more gain, we have more trust in ourselves, more competent, and again, we'll get success in our lives. So this is a role of leaders. It's the fifth role of leaders. The sixth role of the leader is a coach. What a coach do? Coaching is energy exploring. How can we invest in the energy level of our employees? Coaches will always try to invest in this energy. And the seventh role is actually a mentor. A mentor, inspirational leaders are always mentors. Mentors are actually two roles. We can mix them together. Teachers and coaches are mentors. And we always find that mentors in the education sector, or he or she is my mentor. The most important role of all these seven roles is the mentor. The only role that leaders cannot delegate to others is mentor. So in the following episode, we will discuss the concept of coaching, which is the inspiring, getting the energy from our people. This will promote all types of values we can think of. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.